Hey guys, Rich from Rich Me Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. Happy Wednesday, guys. Welcome to two bugles in a row. We're doing well. We are, however, down 33% of the crew today. So I am joined just by Mr. Quinn Duggan. Quinn, how the hell are you doing, sir?
Ah,
Nice, nice. Who we got in? Swedish Troll. There we go. Always first. Sean, hope you well. Glyn, hope you well. James, hey buddy. Daz, hello. Um, what were we betting? The bet was what time? So
when
what
the
did we go?
stream actually starts, as in
Four
when we
minutes.
appear,
Yeah, 4 minutes 30. I
which
think
no
was
one
the
guessed,
winner.
so we win.
We win. You owe us all £1. Also, Quinn, I was cleaning out my car earlier this
Rare
week,
occurrence.
and I found a Cadbury's cream egg, but the white version. I think this might have been Laura's, but it's obviously now mine. So it'll be my little treat for myself
Don't like cream
after.
eggs.
Pardon?
Don't like cream eggs.
You don't like cream eggs?
No, like biting into a cream egg is just like shoving a spoon of sugar in your
Oh,
mouth. It's all like granular and shit. I hate it.
absolutely not, you
What it?
weirdo.
Why is the inside so grainy?
No!
Why is it so grainy, Rich?
No! Lord, no!
I don't like it. I'd rather a
um,
mini egg any day.
oh, no. Right, guys, let me know. Right?
Mini eggs. What would you rather have? Like four Cadbury cream eggs or like a big bag of mini eggs?
Well, do you know what, Quinn? We're going to find out.
Oh, we're gonna have a poll. I can't wait for all like the non-UK listeners that don't know what either of these things are. Ah, all right, troll. I get it now. I get it. Reminds me of when you were a boy.
Let us know. Let us know. For me, it is a cream egg all day, every day. Absolutely love me a cream egg. I've just remembered I've left a paintbrush in water. It's not very responsible of me, is it? It's
Not
only
what
a shitty
really.
Citadel one, so it
Oh,
really
fair
doesn't
enough. You
matter.
know what? Put it back in the water, mate.
Yeah,
Fucking Citadel brush.
awful, awful things. Deary me, deary me,
You know,
guys.
I'm gonna side with Justin. Fabergé egg or get the fuck out.
Yeah, Fabergé or
Just
nothing. Is
crunch
that what
down on a
it is?
Fabergé egg.
See, do you get this from any other MCP content creators, guys? That's
Of
the
course you don't.
question.
They all
You've got
think they're
to
important and like clever.
you've got
We
to
we,
ask
we just
yourselves
like egg based chocolate.
who's asking the hard hitting questions. This is
Exactly. You know
the
what? I'm putting my journalism degree to good use here, Rich.
oh, dearie me, dearie me. It's a boomer thing, Quinn. Let them have it.
It's so
Let's have a
grainy
look.
though. Like how do your
Let's end
teeth
that
just not
poll.
feel violated?
And
Oh, we'll end it when you're winning. Okay.
Cream Egg is the winner. There we go. There we go. No, I hope you're all doing well, guys. We have some actual fucking news to talk about. That's not a four threat. I mean, that's
Wait,
the other
wait.
shock.
There's news for MCP.
There is a news. A new.
No,
Is the
no.
singular of news new?
The
I'm
the
not
the
sure.
the, the times of news are over. The time of the Shatterpoint has come.
So yeah, we do have some. We got a card to break down, which I wasn't very excited about, but I'm liking the look of him. Are you
Well, of
still
course you're
MCP
liking the look of him. He's got a flaming skull head and rides a motorbike.
Are you still MCP content creators? When does Shatterpoint take over? Glyn, I was asked this question last night actually when I was doing I did a live build of the terrain from the core box, and it'll be as and when. To be brutally honest with you, obviously a lot of the time has been dedicated to Shatterpoint purely because of the fact that it's the new shiny thing. So obviously, we've been playing a lot of live games. I did the beginner's guide. I'm actually at the moment as we speak. I'm currently painting up a Sarge. All my minis are built now. I'm going to be over at Leodis Games tomorrow from about 5 o'clock, doing demos for everyone in the gaming store. So I think we've got like 10 people lined up for a demo game already, which is good. So yes, but that doesn't, that doesn't mean that we don't still love MCP.
I mean,
It's,
to a degree, we're beholden to whatever scraps AMG decides to throw us, right?
yeah,
We can't like do an MCP news show if there's no MCP news, which there
that's the
hasn't been for a while.
yeah, that's the difficult thing. So actually, just a little bit of housekeeping actually before we jump into the card. So we have been discussing it and what we're going to do with the live streams, because we do want to create a weekly show or a live show for Shatterpoint as well. That's something that we want to do. Neither of us, or none of us, have the time to be able to do this twice a week. And being brutally honest, there just isn't enough content out there to be able to do it twice a week.
Yeah, it's not really warranted. Is it?
So yeah, so probably so this is going to be the last Bugle for at least a week, probably two, because I go on holiday on Thursday evening, and I'm back sort of early hours of the Wednesday the week after that. So probably for the next 2 weeks. But then what we're going to move to is a bi-weekly schedule. 1 week it will be MCP, so it'll be the bi-weekly Bugle, as it'll be renamed, and then we need to come up with a.
Does bi-weekly mean every 2 weeks or twice a week?
No, bi-weekly means twice weekly would mean. Bi-weekly is every other week.
Okay, fair enough. I genuinely didn't know. It's one of those weird things.
Yeah, because it could mean either, because obviously bi meaning two. But we are going to be doing a Shatterpoint one as well, guys. So, answers on a postcard. Let us know what you think we should name our
I have
Shatterpoint
one
show.
that is perfect.
Go on.
So, keeping in the theme as well, because what is a bugle, Richard?
It is a musical instrument.
Exactly. What's the most famous music in Star Wars?
Cantina.
Cantina Band. So, it's the Jizzcast. Because in universe, that is what that music is called. That genre of music is jizz. So it's the Jizzcast.
Deary me.
Or we could call it Jizz Time.
I don't think we should include the word jizz.
But it's authentic to Star Wars. What's your problem, Rich? What's your problem?
It may be. So yeah, we may. Do we want to keep it musical themed?
No.
Is there a? Does anyone know of a news publication that gets published within any aspect of the Star Wars universe?
I mean, obviously we had the HoloNet, that sort of the thing. Like,
yeah,
what we have?
Yeah.
Senate sessions, and we all come in on that. They're like floating on platforms, like debate things.
Lartbeard says demonetized, not just on the live stream, on everything.
We're
just
talking about. What are you saying that like YouTube has a problem with jizz?
Pardon? Yeah.
Can't suppress art, YouTube.
This is true. Cream eggs and jizzcast. I see where our heads are. Yeah, I did start to do one called Scum and Villainy for Legion, where I had a few guests on and we.
Well, yeah, that's just because of the caliber of guests you were getting on. Can't really have Scum and Villainy when you have, like, the imperial majesties of myself and Ron appearing each week.
Yeah, so we need to have a think of that.
What about like the command bridge?
No.
Why not?
It's fucking horrible. Anyway, guys.
You can sit on a little throne and pretend you're Thrawn, and then you'll jizz. The other jizz.
The Hollow Bugle. Galactic Times. We'll have to come up with some good ones. Guys, leave us a like if you can. There's 33, 35, however many of you in the building. Scum and Villainy, but the S is silent.
I'm glad I just have the ability to completely derail things so proficiently.
The Jedi Council and why Quinn isn't allowed to be a master. Oh, he doesn't like that, does he? He doesn't
Well,
like that.
no, because fuck you, Glenn.
He's fucking
Fuck
sick
you.
at Shatterpoint. Anyway, guys, we're here to talk about MCP. Let's have a look at the second iteration of Mr. Frank Castle. This time, obviously,
They made him good.
as Ghost Rider. Yeah, I mean, let's just pull it up there.
As if you needed more reasons to not play Punisher.
Yeah, exactly. So you'll be sad to know, guys, that you're not able to run the Punisher and Cosmic Ghost Rider on the field at the same time.
However, you can have Ghost Rider and Cosmic Ghost Rider together, which is definitely a thing you're going to try at least once, Rich.
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And apologies, guys. You may have got it from the video last night I did. I am struggling a little bit with a cough at the moment. So, okay, Quinn. Cosmic Ghost Rider, aka Frank Castle. I do love them giving him his little helmet so he can breathe in space, even though
He's got a funny little hat.
he has a. He does have a funny little.
You know, I always approve of a funny hat, Rich.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's a reason that Watto was the top of our Shatterpoint tier list that we did.
The hat is so he can breathe. I think it's so the flame isn't immediately extinguished in the vacuum of space.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I don't think Ghost Rider actually needs to breathe.
But yet his fiery chain and the fucking boosters from the back of it.
Well, yeah, because the booster has an engine attached to it, and the chain is magic.
Right, as opposed to that non-magic flaming skull.
Yeah, that's just his normal skull on fire.
Oh, need to give Ghost Rider Logan's cowboy hat. I do like the idea of that.
I could actually do that as well, because I assembled Logan with the proper head, without the silly hat.
Oh no, you've got to put him. You've got to give him his hat.
He looks so much better without the silly hat.
He really, really doesn't. And yes, don't judge me. I've got a McDonald's Coke.
Oh no.
No cherry Pepsi Max for me today. I've run out.
I'm disappointed you don't have a damn McFlurry.
There was
no. You keeping our traditions alive.
There wasn't any. There wasn't any. It was broken, the machine.
Oh yeah, you.
We've had this conversation before.
You only have like one Mackey's, right? Yeah.
I do. Yes.
I've got like
anyway,
4.
guys. Fucking hell, we've got his name so far, and we are 20 minutes in. Cosmic Ghost Rider, aka Frank Castle. 4s across the board for defenses. He's going to have 9 stamina on his healthy side. He is a 6 threat character. He is size 3. He's got a medium move, and I believe, Quinn, from what I can tell by the pictures, he comes on a large base.
Yep, 65 mil.
Which, a medium move on a large base is very, very good. And we'll get on to...
If you want to visualise that, think about normal Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So, for a 6 threat, Quinn, they're pretty good stats, aren't they, I would say? It's hard to compare because there aren't that many others, really, are there?
I mean, also, 6 threats are very rarely determined by their raw stat block, right?
Yeah, it's everything else that they do as well. So let's have a look then at the first of his 2 attacks. Hellfire Blasters. It's going to be range 4. It's going to be 6 strength, obviously costing 0, but only giving a flat power. Now, I'm not usually a fan of flat power, Quinn, but as we'll see a little bit later on, there's a reason why it's a flat power, because otherwise just busted to hell. As a builder, I think it's pretty good. 6 dice, energy, range 4 is very nice. He's got, obviously he's compensating for something over Jonathan because he's got a longer.
Yeah, where the hell is his chain?
Well, he's not using his chain, is he? In this, so his Hellfire Blasters, I believe, are on his motorbike cycle thing.
Motorbike cycle.
Motorbike cycle thing. Yes. Yes.
Like the only ability that uses the chain is his superpower. We'll get to it in a minute. That feels like
Yeah.
a bit of a waste.
Yeah. And we've then got his spender, Cosmic Power Penance Stare. Range 2, 12 dice for 6 power. It's going to be Mystic. And it's going to be the target character does not gain power for the damage dealt by this attack. And then on a crit, wild, hit, block, failure, you're going to trigger Dust to Dust, and it changes each of the character's block results to a failure. Mathematically, you ain't going to be getting that off too many times. I think it's like 20%, something like that. So you don't want to be relying on it. It does only change blocks. It doesn't change, everything that's a success in a defense roll. But it's still pretty good. 12 dice is a lot of dice, Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to understand dice odds because I do completely bullshit maths in my head and then just sort of go, so that's near enough. But in my head, you're rolling 8 dice. On average, you should roll, at least one of each result.
Fucking hell. Well, no, you shouldn't, should you? Because it's not an equally distributed 8-sided die.
I said at least. Obviously,
least
you're
one-
going to get 2 hits and 2 blanks. Duh.
Well, no, because the math of rolling a crit is not 1 in 8. Sorry, the math of rolling a crit is only 1 in 8, but there's more chance of rolling other things. But it's okay. Like I think range 2, it's very up close and personal.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's got some mobility that will help him with that.
well, and he's also got a lot more defensive tech.
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
form
also
of
just like there is very little text dedicated to attacks on this card.
Yes. Oh,
It
absolutely.
reads like a goddamn novel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. It was 93 years ago. I don't know why I mixed Forrest Gump and Titanic. Then I'm not sure why.
What would he have done? Would he have run around the Titanic
run.
and turned
Just
it
run.
away from the iceberg or something? I don't
Maybe.
know. I've not seen either of these movies in full, so
So Quinn, his first superpower costs X. This character may spend 1 to 5 power to use this superpower. Place this character within range X of its current position, where X is equal to the amount spent. I think these types of places are just so much more powerful than a web line kick or these sort, not web line kick, web swing and things where you have to pay a set amount.
yeah.
And can only
Having
move
a
set amount.
variable cost to distance thing is just it's a lot more adaptable, right?
Yeah, it's really good. You're only spending the power that you need. But I'm surprised they've put it up to 5. I mean,
Yeah, I thought 5, 1 to 5 was going to be reserved for Nightcrawler.
yeah.
I
I mean, he is riding a cosmic motorcycle, so
I wouldn't call that thing a motorbike.
a cosmic motorbike.
I don't care what you call it. It looks dumb and I hate it.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, look, placement and movement is what he is all about with this one. I really like it, and I like the fact that it is that X. We've then got Chains of Sitarak. Cost 2. It's another active superpower. Choose a character, so not an enemy character. It choose a character within 3 of this character. Now, interestingly, Quinn, it doesn't say choose another character.
Yeah, however, you can't push towards yourself. So does he just go a short move up into the air?
I don't know. Poor wording from AMG there. But I think we will get an FAQ very, very quickly that says choose another character. So choose another character within range 3 of this character and push it toward this character short. Oh, I have not missed the terminology push toward, Quinn. Because what is a push towards, Quinn?
A pull.
It's a pull. Short. Then the chosen character gains the Incinerate special condition. A character can be affected by this superpower only once per turn. He's going to love dragging Bill along for a ride. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, any of your characters that are immune to Incinerate, this is going to be really powerful.
Agent Venom being able to use his 1-cost free shake on the Incinerate isn't bad.
Yeah, Winter Guard, where they
Yeah.
just get to go, I'm not incinerated anymore, thanks. And also repositioning of your own characters where they may have been displaced off points, you've already activated them. Being able to get somebody else and move them around is really, really good. We often talk about how one of the most powerful things in this game is out of action movement. Being able to move your own characters is really good. Being able to move your opponent's characters is even better.
And being able to do both.
Being able to do both for 2 power is very, very good. And the fact that it's not limited to once per turn. Like, once per character per turn. Yeah. But, like, you become pseudo Thanos. Like, just like dragging people around.
Especially with the amount of power gen this guy has, which we'll get to later. Like, I'm not looking forward to him.
Yeah, absolutely. We've then got our first and only reactive ability. Cosmic Justice on... Now, they claim wheels here, Quinn.
I don't see any fucking wheels on that thing.
I see a sphere and nothing else.
I see the dumbest designed motorbike, like, adjacent thing I've ever seen.
If an allied character is dazed or KO'd by an enemy effect, after the effect is resolved, this character may use this superpower. It makes a Hellfire's blasters against the enemy character that cause the effect. This is very, very similar, Quinn, to I've Got Your Back that we see on Bucky, that we see on the old Nick Fury with his 2 mates.
Fury.
Yeah. But only range 4, but 6 dice, rather than a 4 dice attack, which is what I believe theirs is. And essentially giving you a power back. So whilst you need the 3 power up front to be able to do it, it is effectively only costing you 2 once you get to the end of the attack, which feels pretty good. You know, again, 2 power for an out of activation 6 dice range 4 attack.
It feels that somewhat they learnt their lesson from Bucky. Because this is appropriately costed to effectively take 2 power away from you. Whereas Bucky's is just, if you roll a hit, you fuck. Actually, you can get even more power than you started with Bucky, which is even sillier.
Oh no, he can get two. He can get multiple successes on his first roll and then do it again.
Because his gun, for some reason, is still power equal to damage dealt.
Yep, which is crazy.
Just silly.
But yeah, I really like this Quinn.
Yep.
I think, he feels like a character that is going to be, whereas Bucky, you standing back, Ghost Rider is going to be further up front.
Yeah.
He's going to be pulling some strings. He's got reactive abilities. So I think, he's going to be doing a lot. And again, it is going to give your opponent a question as to who they attack and when, in a very, very different way to OG Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's keeping the same idea, but doing it in a very different way.
Yeah.
It was more about... think
go on, sorry.
we're going to see a Deal with the Devil card, right? So something akin to that. And in that case, I am really not looking forward to his release, because I hate that card with a vengeance. A cosmic vengeance.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't get a Deal with the Devil. I just think it's on a 6 threat. Like, or maybe they do, but he doesn't lose his activator token or something. Something that just like.
Oh, what you mean they make that card balanced?
I mean, yeah, basically. Um, let's
It
have a
was
look.
fine back in the days where OG Ghost Rider was shit.
Let's have a look then at his innate abilities. I'm the spirit of vengeance, bearer of the power cosmic, and just a bit unstable. So during the power phase, this character rolls 5 dice. For each hit crit wild rolled, this character gains 1 power. Then, if this character has 5 or more power, this character gains a psychosis token, drops all objectives it is holding. At the start of the next power phase, remove all psychosis tokens from this character. However, if at the end of the power phase that you've removed it, you have more than 5 power, you're going to get it back, Quinn, is the way that I read that. Because this is
Yes. Yeah. I was just having a quick read, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is pretty good. Potentially starting the game out with 6 power, making a range 5 move and just going, fuck you all! I am the spirit of vengeance!
And the rest of it, Rich.
I'm not. I'm already losing my voice. So yeah, I mean, power is not going to be a problem for Frank.
Well, it both is and isn't going to be a problem, right? Because it's
He's
not
got
going to
a
be a problem
lot.
getting it, but he does have problems caused by having it.
He does. Yes. And we'll get on to them next with ready to roll. At the start of the first power phase, this character gains a psychosis token. While it has a psychosis token, it counts failure results in its attack, defense, and dodge rolls as successes.
You
While
become
this,
chosen of Cthon.
yeah, basically, while this character has a psychosis token, it cannot hold, contest, or interact with objective tokens. And this is because I'm reading his card and I'm going, oh my fucking God, like, oh my dear Lord. And then you go, here's the gotcha. Having a 6 threat character on the board that cannot score any VPs whilst it's got this token on. So, round 1. So all of a sudden, that range 5 place round 1.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not as good. Like,
it's.
I think the ideal number that you roll round 1 is 3. Because that way you're sat at 4 power. You're not getting a psychosis token. Right?
No. You start.
You
So at the start of the first power phase, this character. So round 1, you are always guaranteed to have one.
So you can't. That makes him feel a lot better. Realizing that, like, I only gave this curse we read like yesterday when it came out. Knowing that now that he can't do any turn 1 bullshit whatsoever, I feel much happier.
It balances things out significantly. Yeah.
From round 1, having a 6 threat that does nothing, points wise, which is the point you were making before. Like, that's real rough.
Yeah. I just want to go back to another thing here, Quinn. And then, sorry, he's got flight and then immunity to bleed, hex, incinerate, and poison. I want to cycle back because we picked up on choose a character within range 3, right? And we said that should be another character. Read Cosmic Justice on Wheels.
Oh.
He is allied to himself.
Maybe he can just shoot whoever hit him.
I mean, the wording of the text says that he can.
Yeah, because it says this character may use the superpower. So it's
Yeah.
a neat. Oh, I hate him even more now.
Now,
What a load of bullshit.
I don't believe that that is the intent. I believe it is another allied character because that is the wording on bookies when another allied character
Yeah.
is dazed or KO'd. What is the trigger that makes him remove the psychosis token? Is it rolling the 5 dice, or is it only if he gained one? So he always loses his he always loses his psychosis token at the beginning of a round during the power phase. So at the start of the power phase, which is before any power is dished out, he removes the psychosis token. If, however, at the end of the power phase, he is going to have 5 or more power, he's going to get another psychosis token, basically. So there's going to be some situations where you don't want to roll 5 successes because you don't want that much power. After the effect is resolved, though, yeah, can you use reactives after the effect is
I'm trying.
resolved?
I know there's an example of a character, and like
Ronan.
Ronan. Yeah. Let me just
Ronan can
pull
do
up
it.
Ronan, see what Ronan says.
I think it says.
Thing is,
I think it says
Ronan's thing is directly related to
directly
him
for
dazing.
himself. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, 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 uh.
Um, but yeah, we'll just what Quinn's do that is flip over to his injured side. So I believe everything remains the same, which is a good job because there's a hell of a lot of text to learn, with the exception of he drops down from 9 to 7 stamina. Can't trigger from himself.
So,
I think.
based off of the wording of Ronan, Ronan specifies that after he resolves the accuser is the point at which he's dazed or KO'd. Because there's no stipulation of that on Ghost Rider, I would then, like, bring from that he is dazed at the point he would normally be dazed and therefore cannot use the ability because he is dazed at that point.
Okay. Okay.
Because
Again,
because when
it's
you're attacked, you become dazed technically before the effect is resolved, right?
you do. Yes, you do.
You can tell we've not had MCP content in a while.
Yeah, I think just a badly worded card all round. There's a couple of things on there that could have been. All it had to do was say another on those two, and it resolves all the problems. But so I won't ever have a psychosis token. So you will always start with a psychosis token. Ronan pauses the KO and the days. It's not a card that he plays. It's actually just an innate. It's an ability that he's got. So a reactive ability. But yeah, just interesting again, Quinn. That they've just not worded it great. I imagine there's going to be an FAQ about him pretty quickly around. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look. I wish I got excited about what feels like power creep. Does this seem balanced to everyone else, particularly compared to another 6-threat Magneto? I think his one balancing factor, Justin, is actually there's 2 balancing factors to this Ghost Rider. The game scores so much quicker now than it ever has done. There are so many more VPs available on the board than there ever were before. And the fact that round 1, he can't score any of them. So if you're playing 18 threat, 33% of your threat cannot score VPs, which doesn't feel great, to be brutally honest with you. So I think because of the way that they've done it, I think that is going to balance him out. So I I do think he's going to be okay. He's going to be pretty good at murdering people. But even then, he can't score VPs, and that's what wins games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we pretty much know he's Guardians affiliated, right? But the
Yeah,
box says he
100,
comes with Guardians cards.
yeah, 100%.
So Guardians very much feels like one of the places where he will thrive because they have a lot of cheaper like options that will allow them to just go wide enough on the board that can probably keep up with your opponent whilst having this big six threat behemoth that doesn't contribute anything to scoring, right?
Yeah. So Michael said, would you get the attack after normal Ghost Rider does deal with the devil? No.
Because it's not an enemy effect.
Yeah, because Ghost Rider himself is never KO'd. It's at the point he would be KO'd.
Yeah.
And
Ghost
then
Rider cancels the KO, and then it's Ghost Riders deal with the devil effect that takes out the other guy,
yeah,
which
so
is
it's no
technically
longer an
considered a
enemy
friendly effect.
Yeah, yeah. Running both Ghost Riders. I mean, Michael, I am not opposed to the idea.
I am.
Oh, Rocket, Star-Lord, Groot. What's that?
8.
8. 19 threat, baby.
I mean, you
And you know
technically
what?
don't even need Rocket / Groot in that.
Well, no, you don't, do you? Because you
Because he's
can.
affiliated.
He's
So
affiliated.
you can do it at
Yeah.
17 or 16.
I like it.
I fucking don't.
Probably totally. Yeah. So I think Patrick should say you're probably pulling two people off points. I think that's what he's going to be. He isn't going to be able to score you points, but because of that large base as well, if your opponent doesn't place themselves correctly on certain map setups, he's going to be able to reach. He's going to be able to be stood in the middle of two and reach both sides with that Cosmic Justice wheels. Or if he can't, he just uses an interstellar hell cycle, bumps himself for one, and then reaches you as well. Seems
Yeah,
like a
he's less like obviously he doesn't contribute to scoring in the traditional way because he doesn't
yeah,
score things himself, but he is very proficient at denying scoring for
huge,
your opponent.
absolutely huge. Patrick, I 100% agree. Cosmic Thanos in Guardians is dead. Like, why on earth would you spend not just the 8 threat,
But
but
the two
also the
restricted slots.
opportunity cost of 2 restricted cards when you've got another character here that can benefit from Lovable Misfits? You've got another character here that's contributing to your, total 50+%. I think he is the replacement, the de facto replacement for Thanos in Guardians. I'm sure there's still use cases where, people will take Thanos. Thanos is still good. I've never been a Thanos Guardians player. I've just never enjoyed it. You guys know me. I am Ghost Rider to the core when it comes to Guardians.
You pick Ghost Rider before your fucking leader, you.
I do pick Ghost Rider before Star-Lord, yeah. But I will 100% be running both Jonathan and Frank in my Guardians of the Galaxy roster, without a shadow of a doubt. The stream showed that the big wheel is clear plastic and there's a clear helmet. I might just get him to have a goofy space skeleton. Yeah, I do like the clear plastic. It does allow you to do some cooler stuff with it. But we'll see. We'll see. Ghost Rider and Thanos? Nah. There's not enough. If you're taking Ghost Rider, you then need the width within Guardians to be able to keep up scoring whilst playing the attrition game. If you were to take, what's that, 8...
It's Star-Lord, Groot, Cosmic Ghost Rider, 8 threat Thanos.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough. You need... I think you want to be taking at least 3 off, trying to get 3 or 4 of the characters.
I think 4 minimum is the number of scoring characters you want to run. 5 is probably the ideal you're going to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree that he could replace Thanos in Guardians, but he's not as consistent, so I could see Thanos still... What do you mean by consistent, though, Justin, because he's
Well, his power gain is more erratic. However, he needs to roll a single success on 5 dice to be able to pull someone round one.
but he's also got the ability to double tap somebody and gain 2 power, which is enough to do a Chains of Sitarak.
Eh. Eh.
So he's always guaranteed to be able to do it at least once, as long as he's in, as long as he's
Well,
in
yeah,
range.
he's got to be in range, which is definitely not a guarantee round one, right?
Well, okay, but he's got starting with 1 power.
Yeah.
Okay, round 1, maybe not, right? But starting
Beyond
with
round 1, yes, sir.
yeah, he's always going to be able to do it. Is there a place you would put him outside of Guardians? I'm not a Guardians player. Look, he is not going to mind being sat under Steve, but we can say that about a lot of characters.
I think I don't hate him under Strucker. Thinking
I
about
was
it.
just going to say Hydra, because all you do is you give one of your guys the Incinerate,
and then they go, "Pop, it's yours
have
now."
Have an Incinerate. Winter Guard, again, because one of the problems with Winter Guard is they don't have a lot of they have no long movement characters.
I mean, so they also only have 10 threat worth of characters, right?
They only have 10 threat worth of characters as well. So, him being able to drag people along. Apologies. Him being able to drag people along kind of makes up for that. So, one of the ways that you're really going to hurt Frank is by getting stagger and slow, and actually slow to a lesser extent. Because Interstellar Hell Cycle is a place, which obviously isn't affected by slow, but only getting 1 action with a 6 threat hurts. Just being able to get rid of that early doors is very, very good. He's also got really good defensive tech. You've also got characters like Red Guardian with... I forget his card. Heroes for Hire, but the Russian version.
Comrade's Keeper.
Comrade's Keeper, there we go. So who else? I'm trying to think who else. Who else? Where would he go? I mean, he's the thing is, because he has a very specific job in this game, I do think you could see him splashed in a lot of places, because he brings a huge amount of control to the game, and dishing out Incinerate as well. Like 2 power for a short push, and then Incinerate is just crazy. So yeah, I think you're going to see him quite a bit. Quinn is my.
Yeah, I mean, also there's the fact that there haven't been that many releases that have been of interest lately. Ooh, Squirrel Girl and Gwen. So people are probably itching to spend their MCP money somewhere.
That is also very, very true as well. What about Shadowlands Daredevil team? Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like anywhere with a leader that costs more than 3 is gonna struggle to fit him in a lot of the time.
That is fair, actually. Yeah.
Which is why I think Hydra, Guardians, potentially you could see him as a big guy in X-Men.
I was just gonna say,
he's a big base you could hop off, or he's a big base that can hop. There's a bit of utility in there, and he gives you a bit more punch.
Because you saw people running Sentinels, didn't you, in X-Men quite a bit? And that was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
This guy is significantly better than either the Prime.
He's a threat more than the Prime, but he's
pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, I just think, and Andy's got that reactability as well, which is gonna sting a little. He seems amazing. I think he's going to be as good as OG Hulk. Well, let's just clarify this, Justin.
You mean errated OG Hulk?
He's significantly better than OG Hulk. but I jest, and I get your meaning. Is he?
He doesn't score points. Hulk scores points whilst killing things. Hulk
Yeah,
has access to multiple throws. This guy has no throws.
it's very different.
Yeah.
I'm not understand what you.
I think this is in relation to me saying that people want something to spend money on for MCP because Squirrel and Gwen was shit. Yeah, Immortal Hulk was popular, I guess. Meh. Don't
Yeah,
really
I
care for
think
him.
he will most definitely be played in Malekith Cabal.
I'm not sure you're fitting that fucker in there.
So I think the problem with Malekith Cabal is you are running Malekith, and my preference is Murdoch, but most people's preference is Red Skull, the new version of Red Skull.
The Master of Hydra.
Yeah, Malekith CGR Bullseye is a terrifying. See what John? Your
I mean,
problem
I
there
think I'd
is
rather have Red Skull and a 3-threat like Mystique.
yeah, Mystique, Red Skull, Malekith,
That
or
way, instead of having two characters at score,
Malekith Murdoch Lockjaw. I'm just saying.
instead of having two characters at score, which is what that list has, in my list you have 4 characters at score because the grunts can stand on objectives.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we have to remember, guys, his amazing card is tempered that he can't score points. Round 1 he can't score points. Likelihood is
I think it's very rare that he will ever actually score points.
yeah, because you just target him. You just target him. You target him until he's going to have enough power in the round to be able to so that he's going to get that psychosis token back. Ran a tournament a week ago that had 10 Hulks, 10 Immortal Hulks. I don't actually think Immortal Hulk's very good for the 7th threat.
I think it very much depends on where you want to play him, but yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not not a fan.
I think it's mainly I'm not a big fan because I think he's boring and we didn't need another Hulk.
Is he here? Look, I've just been painting him up recently, and then I got sidetracked because shiny new Star Wars stuff turned up. Yeah, Immortal Hulk. Is not great. His only real home is Midnight Suns.
Immortal Hulk. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Right, okay. I thought we were talking about.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, Immortal Hulk getting
A bump is spooky.
getting a bump is oh dear lord, and Quinn an attack out of activation as well.
Yeah, that
is pretty darn good.
If only Midnight Suns had a leader that wasn't Blade.
Oh, I know.
I wish Blade was so much better than he is.
Yeah, so overall, Quinn, what are your thoughts on CGR, as he will now be known?
CGR?
Yes.
With the fact that he's basically 6-threat Nebula and will likely play in such a manner, though he does have access to some objective denial with pulling people off them and also just murdering their face off. If there was any other character that had rules like these that were just rethemed, I think I'd really like him. But I just cannot give a fuck about Ghost Rider after the night you played him. Like, you have ruined Ghost Rider as a character for me, Richard.
I have perfected Ghost Rider. That's what
Have you fuck?
I think he's really good. I think he is going to be seen everywhere, early doors, and then he will fall down and he will be somewhere in the sort of high B's, low A tier.
Well,
You'll see him in affiliation. You'll see him splash every now and then.
I'm feeling mid-A on this guy.
I think his tactics cards will very much determine where he ultimately ends up. If he has deal with the devil, then that is very different.
And he's a bullshit character, and we're all just going to go leave and play Shatterpoint. I do also think it's slightly harder to conceptualize in your mind how important that not scoring thing is going to be with him.
It's huge.
Because once you get it on the table and you get yourself into actual situations that you can't necessarily think of off the top of your head, I think you're going to start to see him sort of not crumble, but you're going to see your estimations of him are going to come a little bit more down to earth, I think, as you actually get table time.
No, I agree. I agree. I think he. Don't get me wrong. I really like him. I think he's really good. Does the days KO reactive trigger off grunts? Yep,
Yep.
because it doesn't say non-grunt. But if you kill your own grunts, then it doesn't, because that's not an enemy effect. So yeah, it 100% does. Yeah, it does. Completely agree. Not being able to score is huge. Tactics card to remove psychosis token. I don't think there will be, and the reason why I say is it's his balancing feature.
Yeah.
So I think
Um, I did. I think I saw it somewhere that he's got a Black Order card.
what?
Yeah, apparently he has a Black Order tactic card that they mentioned on like the painting stream or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which could be very interesting if this guy's part of Black Order. Um, Maybe he fits into Corvus Black Order like relatively okay-ish. I
I'm
say
just
relatively okay-ish because it's Corvus Black Order, and they ain't exactly great. Oh, Rich is doing things.
I'm just looking to see.
If anyone in chat knows whether I'm talking out of my arse or not.
I'm just looking to see if he was ever in the Black
But
Order.
the whole
He's partnered with Thanos.
the whole run with him is him like taking baby Thanos and trying to raise him to not be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Thanos Association.
Interesting. Yeah. Cosmic Ghost Rider, baby Thanos must die. I mean, they turned Thanos into the if you had a time machine, would you go back and kill Hitler thing, didn't they? That's basically what they did with it.
I mean, you would definitely go back and kill Thanos.
Would you?
Yeah.
Because all that would have happened is that Celestial would have destroyed the Earth that bit earlier.
No.
And would the Eternals have been awake in time to be able to stop it?
Considering that, there's been like 6 or 7 movies in the MCU since that event and no one's even mentioned it, don't think it's that important.
Quinn's right, the card exists. Cool. Well, we'll see what that is then. So maybe that's another home for him.
Also, apparently Defenders was mentioned. You ain't playing this guy and Strange together.
No.
You're just not.
No. One on Etsy has Baby Thanos tied to him. Oh, I like games. I might have to look at that one. But yeah, let us know what you think, guys. Let us know what you think.
What you do is you just get a baby miniature and then, sculpt on like the Thanos chin lines.
You just get a baby.
And then you just get a human baby. No, you get like a baby miniature, sculpt the Thanos chin lines on it, and then just like put it on the end of his cosmic chain. Like you're just dragging it across the universe.
Deary me. Dear Lord. But yeah, look, I think somebody mentioned it, and it's the same with any new character. Table time will reveal all. These are obviously only ever early views. You've not had a chance to play with him yet. We sometimes do. We just haven't with this one. So time will tell. Whether he's good, whether he's bad. For me, he is not. I saw some people, talking about how he was the second coming, as in Malekith was the first, and now Ghost Rider's the second. He's nowhere near the levels of bullshittery that some of the other characters that we've had in the game. He's completely neutered by the fact he can't score points. And as I say, do not underestimate how important that is. Go and take a look and see all the results, and look at how many were won by a table, and it rarely happens, right? Quinn, in a 16-person tournament, you might see it once or twice, maybe at the absolute most. It rarely happens. Now, don't get me wrong, attrition is still a thing in this game. Taking your opponent's models off the board and leveling the playing field up. If you're 5v5 and Cosmic Ghost Rider can take one of his opponents out round 2, even if it's a smaller character, a 2 threat or a 3 threat, and actually take them off the board, all of a sudden you've now got parity when it comes to scoring points. You just need to make sure that you can catch up and that you have enough time to catch up. Because I played a game last night. I played my first round of TTS last night, and I was 5-4 up round 1, and then mid round 2, they went 6-5 up my opponent Jaborth. Used the Terrigenesis to score 2 VPs, and then at the end of round 3, he was 13-7 up against me. And I was able to pull it back, and we were 14-15 going into round 4. So you can see how many points and VPs are on the table. Great. He may be able to take somebody off the board, but he's going to have to be efficient at it, because if he's not, your opponent's just going to fly away with the game. So I don't believe he's of the same bullshittery level that, Malekith and a couple of others out there that has been in the past are. I'd actually even say, for the threat, I'm going to say it here, Quinn, errated, not OG, Ghost Rider is better for me still right now.
Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought this was going to be a threat thing where you said Hulk, but then you said Ghost Rider, and I was like, what?
No. Obviously, different threat levels. For the threat, for me, the original Ghost Rider is better.
I think the access to Hex and just your crits are now real bad for you and do damage is very valuable, and it'd be interesting to see how they stack up not against each other, but compared to each other. But yeah, I can definitely see your point of view with regard to OG Rider.
Maybe that is a video for the future, Quinn. We take 2 versions of different characters that we've had, and we pit them off against each other, and we discuss which one we think is the better for the power.
Whoa, fight!
He's definitely not as stupid as Malekith was on release. 100%, John. He is nowhere near. Malekith could do far more than what Ghost Rider could do, or Cosmic Ghost Rider could do. It was guaranteed because he had enough power to do all the bullshittery. And guess what? He murdered you, took what you were holding, and then scored the point that you were stood on. Ghost Rider can't do any of that.
And then, when you went to go attack Malekith back, you couldn't re-roll against him.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
I still maintain was the thing that made him egregious. Not the turn 1 ferocity, but the no re-rolls. No re-rolls was bullshit.
Michael, I just sped read what you wrote then, and I just saw CGR pulling people off could be very good. It's like, look, mate, you do you when you're playing games like that. I do agree there, Michael. It gives, if he is in Black Order, it gives them a level of control that they do not have when Thanos isn't there. So it will be interesting. Pat Dunford tabled his opponent in Adepticon finals, but yet John, I get your point, but as you've said, it's still rare. Very, very few games are won by tabling. Everyone, I'm so tired of the big... Whoa, I've never said I'm tired of the big... Look, Lou, to give you some perspective, before... A long time ago...
And the galaxy far
away.
Wrong franchise.
Wrong one. My 20 threat for Brotherhood of Mutants used to be a 9 threat Thanos, Magneto, and Scarlet Witch. That was it. And I won plenty of events with it. So I am never tired of the big boy meta. I'd rather me and my opponent have 2 or 3 characters each on the table, run into the middle and beat the shit out of each other, because I find that fun.
See, I fit a bit more in the middle, where Big Boy Meta's cool. It's okay. Obviously, I ran Double Hulk for quite a long time. Um, but on the flip side, I vehemently hate the get things and run away meta because it is dull as
Oh,
fuck.
my least favorite part of the time in this game ever was Sam Spam. That was my least favorite time in the game. Favorite time in the game, murdering everyone with No, not murdering everyone with Malekith. Let me ask you, Quinn. What a snapshot in time?
Ooh.
What's your favorite? And I've already said mine. It's running 20 threat, time Thanos, with all you've got, field dressing, Magneto, and Scarlet Witch. Like, I loved my life of MCP back then.
It's a weird one because, like, up until like a couple of months ago, when I was doing all of my dojoing in preparation for Spring into Marvel, and I was like just getting those reps in with Hydra, like constantly just tweaking that roster, getting it just to where I wanted it to. I really enjoyed that time of MCP, like life in a sense. But I do also really like that sort of time period we had just after the errata,
That was really nice.
where like
Yeah, that was. You
it
mean
felt
you mean
like the game was
the bigger
yeah
rata,
the
right?
character errata where like everything just sort of felt fresh again. Like suddenly Steve Avengers was like playable, um, and things like that. I think like I'd like another errata renaissance to happen to this game at some point.
I'm sure we'll have one. I'm sure we'll have one. My other favourite time was turning up to an event without a leader in my team and people being very fucking confused. And then I murdered them with Killmonger. That was also a good time, wasn't it, Dr. David Cameron? Um, he was one of the victims. All You've Got was so good. Oh, Daz, I loved All You've
Oh,
Got.
that now reminds me of the Brotherhood run I had, where I made L concede first activation of round two. That was fun.
Well, L was another one of my victims where round one, Killmonger walked up, double tapped Magneto and dazed him, and then the next round I had priority and he did it again.
I've been reminded of the best moment in MCP. Full stop. Craven spear throw.
Oh, don't. That that not my lowest point, but one of my three lowest points in MCP.
I thought you were about to say in life. Then I was like,
No, no,
Jesus,
no, no,
this is
no,
getting
no,
dark.
no, no, no.
You've gone much lower than that in your life.
Yeah, yeah. Also, one of my favorite things is the number of people when you used to play All You've Got as. So you play All You've Got, you double tap, you would daze. But the one thing you never did with All You've Got is take any damage. So you'd bring that character back with field dressing, somebody would attack them, do one damage, and you go, yeah, cool, I've taken one damage. And they go, no, 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 he's dazed. No, he's not. No, because he was dazed, and then you healed him by one and took the. Oh no, my sweet summer child. That is not how these cards work. The gap between the competitive affiliations and the not as competitive ones. Disagree completely, John. I could not disagree anymore with that statement. I actually think the competitive affiliations right now are, with the exception, I would say, of maybe defenders and sentinels. I think for me are at the bottom of the pile at the moment.
I'd also argue putting Wakanda in there because they have just so few characters. Obviously, soon to change, but at the
Very, very
moment
soon to
they are
change.
struggling.
But yeah, John, I couldn't disagree more because what you have is the ability to put anything in there. Um, you know, I'll come back to, I've won tournaments with unaffiliated. Ron recently won with Inhumans. They're obviously now getting a resurgence. They've had nothing new, but obviously people follow and see what happens. I've won tournaments with Winterguard. So I don't agree with that one. That the gap is huge. I actually think the gap is closer than it ever has been. Now, if you look at win percentages on something like Longshanks, that will paint a slightly different picture. I think the highest win rate on Longshanks at the moment for any individual leader is something like 65%, and the lowest is like 35. But I would say if you've got a good player can make anything work, or nearly anything work, right? Defenders are just, yeah.
I do also think, whilst like there is this sort of impression of a big boy meta, like Mystique is still ludicrously strong. And she doesn't really fit into the big boy meta. Yes, she has Hulk in her roster for the Sentinels play, but you are not playing Hulk as a big beefy beater in that sense. You are using him as a pool of hit points that will score you an amount of VPs until he finally dies.
I would argue, Quinn, Toad is a better character than Hulk than Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Genuinely believe that. Toad is a better character than Immortal Hulk. Sentinels kind of suck. I tried playing with.
I agree. They're just bad, Rich.
With large events, it's mostly the same. So I think what you. I get the point you're making there, John, but what you often find is now I consider myself to be a competitive player. Quinn, I think you would agree to the same for yourself, right? You
No, never played this game competitively in my life.
No, but you are a competitive player. You play to win. We go to ranked events and tournaments and things like that. But I do think there is a this. I don't want to say this and then come across as talking down at anybody else from the community or anything like that. So that is not how this is intended. Again? Pardon? Just
how tall
6
are you
foot.
again?
So Ron's
well, you're always
me.
talking down to me.
Yeah, that's true. But the point I want to make with this is, because I think it's an important distinction to make, is it's often not just the characters and the affiliation. It's the character that it's the character. It's the person that's playing them as well. But what you often then find is when those individual or some of those individuals go into a ultra competitive scene, they want to then min-max themselves, take the best possible thing to give them the best possible chance against everybody else, because they think that that's what they'll be taking as well. So I think Joe Manji, so Joe Hainstock, who won the last TTS league, he went to Leodis Games the other week and he won the tournament there. So a 4-game, 16-player tournament. He won it with X-Force, right? So who are actually, you could put fucking X-Force in that list of really bad affiliates. Not as bad now, but they are. He played X-Men, the best affiliation at the moment, and going by win rate in the TTS league. But then he went and took X-Force to and I'm not going to say that the TTS leagues are the most competitive events that there are. The reason being is that it pulls players from all over the world. There's always going to be an element of you're only playing people within an X amount of mile radius when you go to a local gaming store, but still, it's my local gaming scene. I wasn't there, obviously. I'm not getting beat by X-Force, but it's my local gaming scene, and there's some really good players there. But yet, Joe, as an experienced player, was able to make a subpar affiliation work. So I don't buy into the idea that the gap is huge.
To that point of a skilled player being able to take something that is viewed as subpar and still perform with it, the inverse can be said regarding what is viewed as the stronger affiliations, right? If someone is going to take, let's say, I don't know, Malekith Cabal is the most powerful thing ever. It's not, but we'll use that as an example. If, say, your Patrick Dunfords, your Rons, your Joe Manjis, like your top tier players go and take that to an event and they stomp everyone and they win and it's a big event. and it gets some attention, and then other people start to gravitate towards that, viewing it as like a strong list, it will only carry them so far without their own merit of their own player skill, right?
There has to be a level of understanding. Like, you could argue right now, Web Warriors are not in a great place. They're not in a great place, right? They're not a particularly strong affiliation. They're middling, but to the bottom end of middling. My money would be on, and it's good money, by the way, because his win rate backs this up. I would put money on Aaron playing Web Warriors against anyone. If he's playing 10 games, if I put $10 a game on every game he plays, I'm coming out up because he understands how to make that affiliation and those characters work. Right, but ask those same players if they would bring X-Force to Adepticon or LVO, and I doubt they would say yes. Why? Because they know it's just... But that's the difference there, John, right? Is when you are... Well, ask me. I went to a big invitational event and I took Winter Guard. Like, it depends on what people want to do. If people are just ultra competitive and that's all they care about and they just min-max it, then yes, they will take the best possible affiliation. But again, I'll refer back to Aaron. He won't. If Aaron went to Adepticon, he wouldn't take anything but the same Web Warriors roster he's been running since day one, maybe with the exception of one or two characters that have been swapped out. And he would do very well with it. So, with very few exceptions, most character selections in the game are super marginal. 100% agree on that one. If you take the top 5 affiliations, compare with the best and worst affiliation models to each of them. Yep, completely agree, Justin. Completely agree. I also think there is... people get it in their heads that something is best, right? So then you often find that, let's I'm going to use Across the Bifrost. I'm going to use Pat and TT as an example. Pat has been, arguably one of the most successful, if not the successful MCP player. He's won TTS leagues. He went over to Adepticon and he's won that. He won the Grand Championship in the UK. And Pat takes, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but Pat will talk through what he's taking and then he will play that roster. Other players then, good or bad, will then follow and do what he does. But to Quinn's point, they don't have the same results because they're not as good a player. I would argue, Quinn, that I'd hate to say the term lesser player, but there is, right? I look at how Pat and I look at how Aaron play the game and I'm like, you're like 2 steps ahead of me. And I consider myself to be a decent player with a plan that can react to things that have happened on the board. Playing those two, it feels like they're 2 steps ahead sometimes. I would argue that a very, very good player could take a lower affiliation against a lower player with the best affiliation, and the better player will win at the end of the day.
Yeah, in sort of a succinct way, the majority of an outcome of a game is decided by player skill, not necessarily what is on the table.
Yeah, 100%. A good player doing well doesn't prove a game is balanced. I agree.
Yeah?
Just want to drop in and say that I've been really enjoying your content. Keep it up, guys. Oh, Benji, thank you very much for that, buddy. That's really, really appreciated. But I want to go back to what Justin said, because it's something we talk about a lot, where we say there that with very few exceptions, most character selections in the game are super marginal. And I want to just throw a couple of examples out there of how we've seen that, because we saw with the erratas, and we see with, some erratas that are made outside of the sort of big main ones that we've had. Characters are often, I always say, one of something away from being what we deem as unplayable. Again, nothing is unplayable, to being very, very, competent and more than good enough to be able to be in a roster. Getting an extra stamina here and there. Getting one extra attack on your die. It can make a huge difference. Goblin. Green Goblin is a great example of what did he get, Quinn? One extra attack on his builder, one extra die on his builder, I think it was.
They stopped the 4 threat having a 4 dice builder. Well done,
Yeah,
AMG.
and then they reworded his leadership slightly, and all of a sudden, Green Goblin's more than playable now. More than playable. The affiliation system in this game allows anyone to basically play anything. 100% Jess. So, the argument that, let's say what? Defenders are the worst affiliation in the game. I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh, Ron, we've found a wandering Ron.
You can't say defenders are bad.
But you can still put Cosmic Ghost Rider in them. You can still put Malekith in them. You know, all these characters that you can put in that are the broken characters, you can take anywhere. That's a correlation. Good players win 40k tournaments all the time. The game is nowhere near balanced. Your statement is good players do well in tournaments with bad lists. So no, Michael, that's not what we were saying. Sorry, I want to go back to the original statement that was made. So the original statement that was made was that the gap between the best affiliations and the worst affiliations is now bigger than it ever has been. My counter to that was, I don't think it is.
No,
I just don't think it is. And, Ron, I use you as an example, right? Everyone had wrote off Inhumans as being terrible, and all of a sudden, my first round game in bloody TTS League, I'm playing against Inhumans. Like, that's never happened before. Equally, the guy who played Jaboff went, Rich, I'm really embarrassed to say this. I've been playing this game for 2 years. Can you tell me what Winter Guard do, please? Because I've never played against them. So I just think it's, for me, the game has been, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4 outlying individual characters in the game, I think everyone is very, very close together. And they are literally, a character at the bottom is 1 or 2 of something from going into the middle or higher up, or, even another character release, right? We've often, we've seen it plenty of times before where a character who was, never sought any love, somebody else gets released that hasn't, just synergizes really well with that particular character, and all of a sudden their stock goes up. Affiliation can be weak overall, but you can play anything and get results if you put planning and thoughts in. Corvus, 100% agree.
I do also think there is an argument to be made that the way that you can judge the balance of MCP as a game is potentially better done via judging how good each individual character is against each other compared to how affiliations are. Because affiliations are more of a broader, overarching thing. And yes, they have certain caveats and constraints on them, but you can play anything under them, much to the points that were made in chat. Whereas with individual characters, that is where I think balance comes into things. More so, I'd say.
Balance is a very hard thing to determine in MCP because there's so many characters now. Say you want to Art of Affiliation 3 threat. You go, okay, I like this character, but this character works slightly better. And it's just that overall, there's so many choices to pick from. Like, trying to balance all them so they're completely equal is just nigh impossible to do, while still keeping, like, the individual characteristics of what make that character that character.
Yeah, and we speak about that a lot, Ron, don't we? When we've done, like, the affiliation tier lists, one of the things that we always look at is and go, let's take, I'm just trying to pick one at random. Let's take Ultron, right, in Cabal. Ultron is a perfectly fine character, right? He does some pretty cool stuff. The problem he's got is there are other 4 threats available to a Cabal player that just do things better than he does. But what you can't keep doing is bumping everybody up against each other, because that's when you get the power creep. If every character needs to be better, that's when the game creeps up. But for me, I still don't think, with the exception of probably Cyclops because
Whoa. You
because
dissed Defenders and now you've dissed Cyclops.
because he's a leader. I don't think there's many characters in the game now that I would deem as being unplayable. I also think some are just better. So why take? Yeah, Wolverine's really bad actually. Yeah, that's a good point, Michael. I also think, guys, and one thing that we haven't talked about is playstyle. Playstyle is huge because Quinn, you mentioned, the run away tactics. Some people don't mind doing that. I hate it. I if I won a game like that, and this is just my own personal thing, like I don't find that fun. And whilst I want to turn up to a tournament, I want to win, I want to do something that I find fun. Now, you guys have seen me play. That usually involves getting all of my characters up the board as quickly as possible and trying to murder my opponent, which, sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. But, Ron playing Inhumans, for example, I couldn't get the same out of Inhumans as Ron does because we have different play styles. Aaron with Web Warriors, I couldn't do, even if he sat down and showed me everything and, I spent a week with him playing games with Web Warriors, I just wouldn't enjoy it because it's not my play style. So I think that's the other thing you have to take into consideration as well. And getting reps in. I cannot say enough. Getting reps in with an affiliation, tweaking it, swapping characters in and out, swapping tactics cards in and out, getting that list so every single scenario you can come up against, what you're going to be taking and what counters what, and what crisis cards you're going to have and things like that, is huge because there are so many characters in the game. It's important not just to know what yours do, but also what your opponents do as well. But anyway, we've gone on about that one for quite some time, and we are getting on the hour, or we've gone past the hour even. We're going to round things. Oh, we're not going to round things up. We've got the painting competition to do.
I can't wait to hear Ron talk about his choice.
Yeah, Ron, we had to veto your choice, mate, because it was from last week.
Well, still, it's a leader, so,
It is a leader. Yes, it is a leader. Guys, so painting competition, what is it? It's the weekly painting competition that we run. Right now, the prize is going to be what's the name of the Wakandan pack?
Something like that.
What was it?
Warrior Falls, yeah.
Warrior Falls, that's the one. Yeah. Warrior Falls. So once that's released, we will be doing a prize draw. Everyone who enters gets put into the prize draw. But every week we pick a theme. You guys submit your entries via the Discord. And then we pick out 2 honourable mentions and 1 winner. Last week, we had Dr. Norbert on talking all about TTS Season 11, not Season XI, as Quinn pointed out to him. So it was all around leaders. So Quinn has picked his honourable mention, which is, let me pull this up here, going to be Bleach Orange's Star-Lord. Quinn, what stuck out for you on this one?
I really like the red of the coat.
It's got a real good leathery feel about it. Red leather.
It reminds me of the Guardians game a lot.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I like it. I think he's sort of made them look like jeans, hasn't he, for his pants? I think that's a really, really nice effect. The white on the t-shirt's really, really good as well. But yeah, overall, I think this is a very, very clean paint job. Really nice, sort of blending, edge highlighting on there as well. I agree. It is a very, very nice paint job. So well done to you, buddy. Ron, we picked your honourable mention for you.
Ron picked it himself, and he's going to tell us all about why he likes it.
So this is from Odd Eyes. I don't even think Ron knows.
I really like the Doctor Doom.
There we go.
See?
I picked it for you.
And that's the reason. That's the reason we picked it. Yes, I love the little attention to detail on the is it a paper box? Because
Yeah.
it's one of
It's
those
like a newspaper box,
a
yeah.
newspaper box, isn't it? So you put your money in. We don't have these things in the UK, but because people don't buy papers anymore. But
People don't want to steal papers.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, really like the little sort of cartoony Doctor Doom on the side there. I can imagine like one of his followers has just gone and tagged it on or something like that. I really liked that one. So well done to you, Odd Eyes. That's a really nice, really nice miles there. And then the winner for this week, I think we were all in agreement with the winner this week because it was a stunning paint job. But it's from Stephen Swayze. Let me know if you're any relation to Patrick. And it is this version of Cable. So it's a 3D printer model. I think, is it a 3D printer
I
model?
don't
Or is
think
he
it's converted.
It's converted, isn't it? Yeah. Who do we think the baby is?
It's Hope. We know it's Hope.
Or do we know it's
about
Hope?
No.
who think the baby is? It's fucking
It's
Hope.
Deadpool. It's Deadpool.
Fucking Hope.
With that red, does Hope have red hair?
Yes. She's Jean's kid.
Fair enough. But
Jesus.
yeah, I'm just looking now, Quinn. Like, he's got the proper shield, it's his cape. So yeah, I think it's a conversion, which actually makes this even better than when I thought it was a 3D print. Especially if they've sculpted that themselves on the front. Absolutely beautiful work, really good paint job. Love that sort of blue theme that he's got running through it there. And he's sort of carried it on into the skin tones as well. He's gone for like a cooler, sort of shading on the skin tones. The sort of almost comic book style on the guns and things like that I really like. But Ron, you sort of picked this one out as well, didn't you, as the winner? What stood out for you on this one?
Well, whoever's took the time to do this Cable is definitely dedicated to the character because in the game he is pretty bad. I don't know, man. It's just ace. Like, yeah, Hope on the chest. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just good.
I've just noticed the massive fucking sword he's carrying as well.
How have you only just noticed that?
It kind of just blended in for me. Quinn, you also liked this one, didn't you? What stood out for you on this one?
I mean, like Ron said, I like the fact that Hope's on there. I also like the fact that I noticed the giant sword really early on, unlike some people.
I thought it were a comb.
So it's just... That'd be one way of combing your hair. There we go, guys. So well done to Stephen Swayze, well done to Odd Eyes, and well done to Bleach Orange. Whose pick is it, Quinn? Because that's your one job.
It's Ron's now.
Okay. Ron, you've turned up just in time. Who?
The pressure is too much.
Too bad.
The pressure is too much.
What were last
Ron,
week's?
pick one now.
Leader were last week, yeah?
Last week's was leaders, yeah.
Okay, so let's go with characters that should be a leader.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to go super broad and be like any character that isn't a leader.
Any kind of that isn't a leader, yeah.
Super
Okay.
ought to be odd. Just send me defenders and inhumans.
So any character who should be a leader. So what are we saying there, Ron, is that they have led an affiliation in the past that is either in the game or not in the game right now. Is that what we're saying, or just in someone's opinion? Okay, so a character that's in the game right now that has led an affiliation. The affiliation can be one of the ones that's in the game, or indeed another affiliation as well. Does Cyclops count?
As an example, you've got like Kamala for champions, right?
Yeah, you've got Doc Ock for
Yeah.
Sinister Six, exactly.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily be an affiliation in the game, but a character in the game that has led some sort of team in Marvel.
Does Cyclops count? Just
100%, because it's Cyclops.
He should be a leader, but he's not because he's just shit. Guys, we're going to leave it there.
He just doesn't have a leadership on his card.
He may as well not, no. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. And as I mentioned, we're going to take a 2-week break. And then when we get back, we're going to be doing alternating weeks. We're going to have...
So we'll have the bi-weekly Bugle and the Jizzcast.
Have you heard this, Ron?
What?
Quinn's idea for the name of the Shatterpoint live stream that we're going to do. He wants to call it the Jizzcast. Yeah. Because the type of music they play in the cantina is known as jizz.
Exactly. Ron's on board with it. So Jizzcast goes forth, is motioned through 2-1.
Jizzcast.
No, you can't be Jizzcast, man. Like that's monetization gone.
Forever.
Look,
yeah, Zemo.
Wait, is this better or worse than the time I incited a race war?
It's up there. But anyway, guys, we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us. Probably in the next half an hour or so, we are going to be doing a game of Shatterpoint as well. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do so. But until next time, guys, take care.